Hey guys, this is me, Kevin Murphy, on my channel called Narcissistic Abuse Learning Who I Am Again. This video is going to be a special thanks for all of my subscribers and all my viewers. I thank you so much for subscribing to my channel and being a huge support to me during my journey. It's because of you guys that I've been healing and I've been doing really well. I thank you so much for all of your support and just for all the wonderful comments, all of the, requests, things like that. I'm so happy and so blessed to have you guys a part of this journey. Um, I've been watching my videos myself, my own videos myself, and I can see a difference in how I'm talking and communicating with you guys versus how I was back then in January when the channel first started. So the channel is almost 3 months old. On the 14th of this month, it'll be 3 months old. And I remember when I first started this channel, I was very skeptical about how it was going to go. I was pretty concerned about how it was going to go. But it seems as if people are getting helped. People are leaving comments and telling me that some of my videos have been helpful to them. This is awesome, and this is exactly what I do this for. I do this to help people who have gone through narcissistic abuse and who are still looking for answers, because narcissistic abuse is one of the most insidious forms of abuse that's out there. Because at first, you can't put your finger on what has happened to you. You can't put a name to it. It's like you have to really, really, really dig deep and talk to a therapist or talk to a professional about the things that you've been through. And just going out and telling your story is not easy. It's very hard. It's very triggering at times, depending on where you are in your recovery. And I know for me, it doing this channel really helped me a lot get through those triggers, get through the things that I went through. It helped me get through the self-pity. It helped me get through the times where I was thinking about the narcissist or wanting to go back in contact and things like that. So I thank you so much, and I really appreciate all of the support that you guys have been giving. I wrote a book on narcissistic abuse about 2 years ago. I actually started the book 2 years ago, and the book is the same name as my channel, Narcissistic Abuse Learning Who I Am Again. And I decided to start from scratch again. Since I've learned so much about narcissistic abuse and I've learned so much about um, learn more about my journey and learn more about what this is. I just decided to rewrite the whole book again. And the first time I wrote the book, it took me I think it took me about 3 weeks to write the book. And I was in the process of getting it published and everything, but the reason why it didn't happen was because I moved from the West Coast back to Pennsylvania, and I lost focus on writing on the book, and I was busy trying to get settled in and trying to get myself together out here in Pennsylvania. So now that I'm fully settled in, I've been living in Pennsylvania for almost 2 years now. It's time to really get cracking on that book and to really um, discuss a lot of the things that this abuse really entails. So a couple of the things I'm going to go over some things I'm going to talk about in the book. I'm going to talk about the 3 stages of narcissistic abuse, how, the love bombing, talk about the devaluation stage and the discard. So I'm going to talk a lot about that in detail and give examples and give stories on how this cycle of abuse works. I'm going to talk about the somatic narcissist, the codependent friendships, the codependent relationships, the codependent marriage. I'm going to talk about how the narcissist uses financial abuse to control you with finances, whether the narcissist is the one that has the money or the narcissist is the one that or the codependent is the one that has the money and the narcissist is spending it all. All of those things will be discussed in this book. And I'm also going to talk about in my book how we can learn how to heal and how we can learn to love ourselves and learn who we are again. So that is why this channel and my book is called Narcissistic Abuse Learning Who I Am Again, because we are all on a journey to learn who we are again, because in that process of the abuse, we have forgotten who we were. We were only who the narcissist said we were. So if you were the narcissist's golden child, then you were whatever the narcissist wanted you to be. So if the narcissist um, was a ballet dancer, then you're a ballet dancer. If the narcissist was a professional volleyball player, then you're a professional volleyball player. If you're the scapegoat, then no matter what you do, you are labeled as bad to the narcissist. You are labeled as incompetent. You're no good. You're a horrible person. And my book is going to talk about all of those things. It's going to talk about how you can get on the path of really exploring and experiencing who you are. My book is also going to talk about dealing with loneliness, how us survivors have a hard time with spending time by ourselves. So we will, if we're not healing or working on our journey, we will get together with either another narcissist or someone who's emotionally unavailable in order to fill that void. So we're looking for that narcissistic parent in a friendship. We're looking for that narcissistic parent in a spouse or a significant other or even an acquaintance. To try to fill that emptiness in our heart. So my book is going to talk about all of those things. I'm going to start working on it this week since I have a lot of time this week since I'm not working this week. So I will be really working on that, and I'm looking to try to get the book out by the end of this year, maybe the beginning of next year. Who knows? It depends on how fast things go, but I'm going to try to take my time with this book. I'm also going to write a book about borderline personality disorder. I still have to do a couple of videos on how the borderline is, so I'm going to discuss some of the traits of how the borderline is. I'm going to discuss how destructive the borderline personality the person who has borderline personality, how destructive their behavior is. Now, there are a lot of similarities to narcissistic personality disorder with borderline personality disorder, but in my opinion, I feel that borderline personality disorder is a lot more destructive because it's more of self harm. It's a combination of self harm and harm to others, whereas narcissistic abuse is more harm to others and it's destructive to other people because the narcissist has an inflated sense, an inflated ego. They hide their fragile sense of self with their um, chest stuck out and this inflated ego, where the borderline, not so much. The borderline wears their low self-esteem on their sleeve. They're very emotional. They're very hot and cold people, where the narcissist kind of hides that lack of self-esteem. So I'm going to be discussing all of those things. So again, thank you so much for all of your support, and thank you so much for walking this journey along with me. This is a journey that you cannot, I repeat, you cannot and should not do on your own. This is a journey that you're going to need support. You're going to need people who will back you up on this, and this isn't something that is easy. Whether you had a borderline personality mother or you had a narcissistic mother, none of this stuff is easy. Psychologically you have dealt with abuse. You may have dealt with physical abuse, but you got to get right up here. You got to get right up here because there's no more damage that the narcissist can do. Once you're on that journey to healing and getting yourself together. So please stay tuned for more videos as I continue to make videos in addition to writing my book, rewriting my book. And I hope to see you guys here soon. Take care. Bye.